Hello there, everybody, and welcome to...
God, culture.
Game of Thrones is good. Do we mess
I
that
don't
up
know, yeah,
entirely?
we're really bad, but I don't think it's gotten over yet, so we might have to just ditch it this time next week. Hello, and welcome to our very quick 10-minute review of Episode 5, The Bells. And before we start, I just want to say this is a spoiler-filled review of the episode. Shout out to the guy who, during my Battle of Winterfell ups and downs, after I said, don't watch it if you've not seen it, obviously it's full of spoilers about who dies and whatnot, went, oh, thanks a lot, man. Now I know people die.
It is your fault.
Yeah, the biggest battle on yeah, sorry about that, Greg. Anyway, I'm joined by Ash Millman and Josh Brown. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Are feelings in order yet, or are we still just like a bit trembly?
Still
Because
very,
you're a
very
mess,
trembly.
by the way. You're a mess.
My
here.
one eye keeps watering. It's just one half of me's crying and one half is like, ugh,
My
I don't know
one
what to do.
eye.
Yeah, my one
Not
eye.
one of my eyes. My one
My
eye.
one eye. My one eye.
Yeah, I think I sort of know where I stand. I know it's really good, in my opinion. I'm scared. But yeah, I think it's one of my favorites of the season so far.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought both from a technical and narrative perspective.
Pathetic. Ash, what's your pathetic?
My favourite is that, I don't know, I actually don't know. I've been saying for the past 10 minutes how flustered I am and confused about my feelings. But I think it was nice to see lots of threads actually being drawn together, because there's been lots of kind of rushing through things, whereas this one felt like a dedicated, hey, okay, we're going to spend the time looking at this person, how it all comes together. And obviously there was some choices.
Yes, a lot of choices made. One thing it probably makes sense to start with is a lot of people have said this season, it's lost its edge now. Lost its plot armor. People just survive for the sake of surviving. That's gone now, right? Surely?
I think
with
so.
half the cast.
If this isn't as subversive or as exciting or as out of left field as people want it to be, then I don't know what they want, to be honest, because this shook me to my very core in a lot of ways.
Were you expecting this kind of body count? This level of death?
I think yes, at some point there had to be, because they didn't really knuckle down with Battle of Winterfell, so at some point that had to go, right, get off with you, like...
Were you expecting these particular deaths? I, for one, was convinced Cersei would make it to the last episode, if not survive the whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought she was good in this episode.
Okay.
I figured this was like her swan song, and then the next episode would be picking up in the fallout and finally deciding who's on the Iron Throne. But I didn't expect it in that way, in such a sort of... Dragonfire isn't unceremonious, but her sort of quiet moment with Jaime was, and that was strange. I thought she would be killed by someone, but then like the twist, I guess, was that Dany is being set up as another
That's
villain.
probably the biggest question. Of all the deaths we've seen on this, is the biggest death actually of the Dany we knew and loved? And in fact, that character's now dead.
Yeah.
And now we have this mad queen instead.
Yeah.
Is that... I mean, how has this been handled? Because a lot of people are like, oh, it's a bit out of nowhere. Oh, they've really done a dirty on this. But have they? Is this not what this has always been building to?
Not been 8 seasons of build-up
well,
of the Mad Queen.
I thought that, but as you say, the internet, God
Yeah,
bless them,
the
like, this is
internet.
not Dany.
I don't know. In this season, especially, I think her character arc has been building towards this moment, just through little glances and little sort of phrases here and there, like even from this episode where she says like I choose fear over sort of wanting to be respected, like from then I knew that was going to go bad, you know what I mean? I feel like we've had shades of that before, like her just killing people in cold blood, not listening to her advisors, and now the fact that everyone has turned on her, to me that made sense for her to just go the entire other route, because she's tried to be respected, she's tried to win the favor of the people, but with the threat of Jon Snow and losing everyone close to her, especially Missandei, I think there was no other choice for her, and I think it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, she's got nobody left now, effectively. Because at the start of the episode, Varys betrays her. She tells Tyrion she feels betrayed by him. And she says, at least I got you, John. All right, then.
Whoa.
I see how that is.
Oh.
All she has left in this... She's dreamt of returning home to sit on this Iron Throne. She finally got there and find that she is completely alone on this continent. She said, I was loved over there, and there's no love for me here. Now she's it's just her. Is this not just perfect?
Well, I think so, and I think the surprise of everyone in that battle when they realise that she's gone too far, like Jon and Tyrion especially, the look of just kind of like disgust and despair on his face, I think is supposed to mirror ours as well. Even though a lot of people, Sansa Arya, have been saying that she is, not to be trusted. She's going Varys looking down from the sky with the smuggest grin ever, like saying that she's not to be trusted. Where even us as audiences, we're like, no, that's not who she is. That's not who she is. She's going to come out fine in the end, but then she doesn't. So we're like Jon Snow, and we're like Tyrion, sort of like looking on in shock and disbelief, but it does kind of make sense with everything that we've been told, in my opinion.
Where do they go from here with Dany and then in the final episode?
I feel like it's got to come down. The whole thing, even when she's like Dracarys in Varys into the dust, she's going, oh, Sansa's done this. oh, how could she? So I think it's got to come back to Sansa somehow. I feel like that's going to be
You think we'll be going all the way back to the north for the last episode?
No, I don't know if Sansa's going to come down. I don't know. I just think it's going to be some sort of. I think there's going to be some sort of head between this Stark family and Dany because they've ceded too much about this rivalry between the two for them to just go, whatever. Or she's going to have a hand in it with helping Jon on the throne. I don't know, but I think Sansa's going to be more involved than maybe we've given her credit for up until now.
She's kind of been low-key been one of the MVPs of this season, Sansa, because she spent the entire show being like, oh, God, Sansa again with the calamities. And now it's like, I know exactly what I'm doing. Because effectively, she's done this by telling Tyrion. She swore to Jon she wouldn't say anything. And then she's little-fingered her way into what is effectively the massacre of King's Landing. Dany even says, like, Sansa's killed Varys as much as I have.
She sets a dragon on him, like, burn.
That's what I'm sort of, I don't know what to think about. Is it her fault? Because we have had this change in Dany being seated for a while now. Did she just need that push? Was she just looking for an excuse to have that push at the end of the day? Like, I don't think she's going to take responsibility for her actions at any point. Like Varys said in the last episode, everything about her arc has been built around like destiny and like her divine right for this throne, and that's been unwavering throughout. She's never really questioned it. So I wonder if she, at this point, is she so far beyond like taking responsibility that she just believes in herself so much that she does these horrible acts and then never looks inwards and thinks, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it's me.
There's very much a vibe of bitches be crazy this season, isn't there? Like, whether or not that's really to be applauded or not. We will go into like so much more depth with this because there's so many nuanced character points that came through in this episode. We will discuss all that in depth over on Got Culture later on in the day when James Hunt's here to guide us through these waters and we actually know what we're talking about. But broad strokes for this episode, the cinematography of it, the way it was never really built up this episode, the same way we heard about the Battle of Winterfell. It was like 80-day shoot, the thing's on fire, it's the Army of the Dead, this is what you want to see. But this, really, in several ways, the scale felt similar.
Yes, I was actually surprised at how like much there was to this episode. I thought it was just going to be like, I thought it was going to be a lot more political stalemating, that sort of thing. But no, she literally boshes her way in and goes, right, let's get burning. And that's the whole episode. And I'm watching all this like, excuse me.
Hope that was James Hunt.
It's not.
Watching all this chaos unfold and everyone be drawn into it, I feel like, I don't know, it was a great sort of penultimate episode to go, right, okay, everything's hit the fan, and now we're going to have some mild cleanup afterwards to see where we really
mild cleanup.
Mild cleanup.
This was effectively our episode 9 of this season, obviously with it being such a shorter version. This is the penultimate one, but I wasn't expecting like the carnage and the sheer scale of the violence and how it went. It took from the pitched army battles right down to street level as well. Like, if anything, it felt almost better done than the Battle of Winterfell. They felt like more of a real sort of horror of war.
That's what took me by surprise, considering the Battle of Winterfell was literally about the army of the dead coming back and wreaking apocalyptic havoc. This felt more apocalyptic than that one. Like when you were on that street level and you were looking up at the destruction, it was so well done. I think potentially intentional that we didn't hear about it in the run-up, just so it could take you by surprise in the same way it did the characters, because you don't... Like we were saying just before recording, we had kind of, there's part of everyone watching who wanted Dany to rain fire down from the skies, and we wanted to see the spectacle of it. But then when we got it, we all thought, oh, go baby.
I've been saying in the office all week, like, absolutely fair play. If Dany wants to set everybody on fire, they've not appreciated her saving the North. Everyone's betraying her. Jon can't get over his own goddamn insecurities about banging his auntie to fall in love with her. True. Fair play. And then now I sat there this morning watching it going, oh, sweetheart. Oh, what have you done? The internet's reaction is going to be very interesting, I think. It's already being very divisive, partially over what's happened to Dany, but the only other character point I want to pull up here is that is the end of Lena Headey in Game of Thrones. And we've kind of been waiting for this season because, when Cersei gets into it, Cersei's always been one of the best written characters, always has some of the best moments. She wasn't in 2 full episodes, and then she was standing on a wall, and then all of a sudden she just broke watching the entire city burn, and then died, and the whole prophecy wasn't really a thing, and she had no big get out. There was no meeting between her and Daenerys at the end. It was just underwhelming, or does that kind of fit in the whole the way the city is burning and it's all going wrong and it's so cataclysmically bad? It kind of works because even a character like Cersei has no response to Dragonfire, and it all comes literally crumbling in on top of her. But at the same time, I did want a bit more than that.
I agree. I think a lot of critics of this season have been saying that a lot of it's been like subversion for subversion's sake.
Yeah.
And I thought like undermining Cersei's threat in this second half last episode was kind of that for me, only because we haven't had much of her in the season so far, like you said. And Lena Headey's so good, and Cersei is like
she does so
villain.
much with a little bit of screen time she's had. I'll give her that, but still, it was very little.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about that actually. I guess we'll see how much of a villain or threat Dany becomes in the final episode, but for an end to her character, I'm not sure where I fall on it.
She deserves so much better. I liked when the city was burning, you could just see like a few wildfire caches exploding.
Yeah.
I was like, if they'd have done something with her plopping those in, I think that would have been quite interesting. Maybe make it look like Dany's wreaking havoc was way more intense than it was, and that was all a plan, that sort of thing. I don't know, she just deserved more of a scheming, wonderfully brilliant, villainous death than going, oh, I'm gonna run off and then just have a cuddle in the crypt. Like,
I thought it was a bit of an underwhelming thing. The one clever thing somebody's already picked up on is that Jaime does technically have his hand on her throat, which sort of fits in with that prophecy that when the Valancourt is doing it, etc. But Jesus, what a cop out if that's the case. Overall, are we any closer to knowing how we felt about that episode? Some people are saying the best of the season so far. Some people have been quite disappointed and underwhelmed by it. Can I bother you both for a hot take?
For me, it's the best of the season so far. I thought it did what the Battle of Winterfell set out to do, in that it meshed great storytelling, visual storytelling, with the epic sense of scale of a huge, technically great battle.
No pressure.
I said this before about another episode, but I feel like in the context of the season, it could be the best one that they've done if they tie everything off nicely. But otherwise, they've made some very interesting character choices that might not pay off. But I don't know. As just a gut reaction to the episode, it was like an amazing watch. It was very impressive. Again, visual storytelling to the max. But there's a couple of things that I want to see play out before I know how I feel about it. Is the thing like, I don't know. I just want to see Cersei's legacy actually like mean something in this. I don't want it to just have been snuffed out.
I'm kind of where you are. Like, I think the spectacle of it, sitting watching it, has absolutely bowled me over, and I'm not really sure where I'm going to stand until we've maybe spent a day or two picking through all the rub and go, actually, did that work? But of course, all that coverage and more will be available for you to watch. We'll have our full, big, massive GOT culture breakdown later on today. That'll be good 30 minutes long. We'll even talk about the Game Bowl, which will make you all very, very happy. But in the meantime, dear God, guys, I am spent mess. Thank you all much for joining us. This has been Josh.
Hello, bye.
This has been Ash.
Well,
We need to sit down and a bit of a cuddle, so we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Subscribe and stuff, I guess.